Brothers, welcome back to the Stoic Golden Tribe. If you are new here, this is the place where men gather to sharpen their minds, strengthen their spirit, and rise above the illusions of modern relationships. Now let me ask you something direct. Have you ever noticed she never calls, she never texts first, yet you're the one always keeping the conversation alive? It feels small at first, almost like something you shouldn't care about. But deep down, you know it means something, because attention is energy, and energy reveals truth. Today's topic is this. If she never calls or texts you first, just do this. And in this video, we are not just going to talk about women, but about what her silence really teaches you about yourself as a man. This isn't about games, tricks, or manipulation. This is about respect, value, and dignity. The ancient Stoics believed that a man must master himself before he masters the world. And in this situation, if you don't master your response, you will find yourself chasing someone who doesn't value your presence. So listen closely, because over the next few chapters, I'm going to gradually reveal what you must do when she never calls or texts you first. By the end of this video, you will not only know how to handle her silence, you'll understand how to turn it into strength. But before we begin, if you are new to the tribe, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and share it with another brother who needs to hear this message. And at the end of each chapter, I'll ask you a question. Drop your answer in the comments, and let's keep this conversation alive. Now, let's step into silence, my brother. Is not just an absence of words, it is a message. And when a woman never calls or texts you first, you must understand this. It is not random, it is not coincidence. It is a deliberate signal. Women, whether they realize it consciously or not, communicate not only through what they say, but through what they do consistently. Their patterns reveal their priorities. And here's the truth. If she never initiates contact, her pattern is saying something very clear about where you stand in her life. This is what I call the silent test. She wants to see what you will do when she withholds her energy. Will you break? Will you chase? Will you overcompensate, proving that your time is less valuable than hers? Or will you remain unshaken, calm, and centered, like a mountain that does not move no matter how hard the winds blow? The Stoic philosophers understood this kind of test long before modern dating existed. Epictetus once said, we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. Her silence is the external circumstance. Your response is the proof of your inner strength. Now let me paint a picture for you. Imagine two men. The first man notices that she never texts him first. He gets anxious. He worries she might be losing interest. So he doubles his effort. He texts her good morning every day. He calls her at night. He sends memes, quotes, and constant messages just to keep her attention. And yes, she replies, but always with minimal effort, short words, or long delays. In his mind, he thinks he's keeping the connection alive, but in reality, he's carrying the entire weight of the interaction on his back. He has turned himself from a man of value into a beggar of attention, and deep down, she feels it. She knows she doesn't need to invest, because he will do it all for her. Now look at the second man. He notices the same thing. She never initiates. But instead of panicking, he does something radical. He holds his ground. He does not chase. He does not flood her phone. He does not ask, why don't you text me first? Number. He simply observes, then redirects his energy back into his own mission, his own path, his own growth. He allows the silence to speak, he lets it echo. And through it, he learns the truth. If she does not reach out, then she is not truly invested. Which man do you think earns respect? Which one commands attention? Which one reveals that his time has value? It is always the second. Because here is the law of value in relationships. What you chase, runs, and what you ignore naturally reveals itself. The mistake most men make in this silent test is that they rationalize her behavior. They say things like, she's just busy. She's shy, she doesn't know how to reach out. She's tired, she'll text me when she's free. But let me ask you, brother, are you not busy too? Do you not have responsibilities, battles, and duties of your own? And yet, you still find the time to reach out. So why is it so easy for her to remain silent? Because she knows you will fill the silence for her. And here is a truth many men don't want to accept. If you are the only one reaching out, you are not being valued. You are being tolerated. You see, effort in relationships is a mirror of investment. When two people are interested, they both contribute. They both seek each other's presence. But when it is only you, then you are feeding a fire that she doesn't even care to keep alive. So what must you do when faced with the silent test? The first step is this: do not chase the silence. Do not overcompensate. Do not send message after message hoping to win her attention, because each time you do, you are telling her, my time is cheap, my attention is unlimited, my energy is yours to waste. Instead, you must practice restraint. You must hold your ground. When she does not call, you do not call. When she does not text, you do not text. Not out of spite, not out of playing games, but out of self-respect. You let her absence reveal her true intentions. If she is genuinely interested, she will eventually notice your silence and reach out. If she is not, then she will disappear altogether, and in that case, she has done you a favor. Because nothing is more destructive to a man than chasing someone who does not value him. The Stoics taught that peace comes not from controlling others, but from controlling yourself. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Her silence is outside your control, but your response to it, that is where your strength lies. Think of a king in his palace. Do kings beg for visitors? Do kings send messengers every morning pleading for others to come see them? Of course not. A king's time is scarce and his presence is valuable. People make the effort to come to him, and if they do not, he does not chase after them because his throne is not for everyone. Brother, your attention is your throne. Do not step down from it for someone who cannot respect it. So when she never calls or texts you first, remember this: she is testing you. She is asking silently, is this man strong enough to hold his ground, or will he crumble and chase like all the rest? And your answer must be clear. Stand tall, do not chase. Let the silence work for you, not against you. Because in that silence, you will discover everything you need to know. The silent test is not about her. It is about you. It is about your discipline, your patience, your self-respect. And if you fail this test, you will forever find yourself giving your energy to women who will never value it. But if you pass, if you stand strong, you will separate yourself from the crowd of desperate men. You will command respect, not demand it. You will attract women who truly recognize your worth. Remember this truth: a woman's silence is not a void, it is a mirror, and it reflects the strength or weakness of the man who faces. Have you ever faced the silent test, where she never reached out first? Did you chase or did you hold your ground? Share your story in the comments, because another brother might learn from your experience. Chapter 2, the value of your attention. Brother, let me tell you something that most men never realize until it's too late. Your attention is currency. In fact, it is more valuable than money, because money can be earned back, but the hours and energy you give to someone, you will never get those back. Once they are spent, they are gone forever. When you text her first every time, when you call her without her ever returning the effort, you are essentially spending your currency for free. And when something costs nothing, it is valued as nothing. This is why she can ignore your silence. This is why she feels no urgency to reach out, because in her mind, your attention is always available, always waiting, always guaranteed. But here's the truth that great men throughout history understood: scarcity creates value. Think of the Roman emperors. Think of Marcus Aurelius, a man who ruled not with desperate clinging, but with composure. Citizens sought his presence, not because he begged for their approval, but because he carried himself with dignity and authority. His time was precious, and that scarcity made people respect it. Now compare that to a man who is always available, always eager, always waiting by the phone. There is no mystery, no scarcity, no value. And women, whether consciously or not, are always measuring your value, not by your words, but by your actions. If you pour all your attention into her while she gives little or nothing in return, she will naturally assume that you are the one investing more, and therefore the one who is more replaceable. It sounds cruel, but it is the truth. People value what they must earn. A man who is always chasing, always texting first, always filling the silence, he teaches her that his time is cheap. But a man who understands the value of his attention, who gives it sparingly with intention and only to those who deserve it, he becomes rare, and rarity commands respect. The Stoics often spoke of self-discipline as the highest form of freedom. Seneca said, "He who is everywhere is nowhere." In the same way, when your attention is spread thin, when it is always given without measure, it loses its weight. But when you control it, when you decide where and when it goes, you elevate it. So what should you do when she never calls or texts you first? You must redirect your attention. Instead of flooding her with effort, invest that same energy into your mission, into your body, your craft, your purpose. Because here's the paradox. When a man is deeply focused on his path, his attention becomes scarce. And when it becomes scarce, it becomes valuable. And when it becomes valuable, others, women included, will pursue it. Think about it. A man who is constantly glued to his phone, waiting for her message, signals that he has nothing greater demanding his focus. But a man who is so deeply immersed in his work, his training, his calling, that he has little time for meaningless back and forth, that man radiates value without saying a word. Women are drawn to men whose lives are already full, already rich with purpose. They are repelled by men who make them the center of their existence. And by holding back your attention from someone who does not reciprocate, you send a powerful message. I value my time too much to waste it on someone who does not value me. This is not arrogance. This is self-respect. In history, the greatest leaders never begged to be noticed. They focused on their mission, and people naturally noticed them. Alexander the Great didn't conquer lands by begging for approval. He was so consumed by his vision that others followed him willingly. Your life should mirror this principle. Your mission first, your self-respect always, and your attention reserved for those who prove they deserve it. So if she never reaches out, let her be. Do not punish her, do not argue, do not try to explain your worth with words. Let your silence and your focus speak louder than anything else, because when you no longer give your attention freely, two things happen. 1. She realizes what she is missing, and she either steps up, or 2. She fades away, making room for someone who truly values you. Both outcomes are victories. Remember, brother, your attention is the gold of your kingdom. Do not throw it away like dust. Spend it wisely, guard it fiercely, and it will elevate you above the crowd. Comment. Question. For Chapter 2. Do you believe attention is more valuable than money in relationships? Why or why not? Drop your answer in the comments. I want to hear your perspective. Chapter 3. Setting the standard, brother. Let me give you a truth that will shape your entire life. If you don't set the standard, someone else will set it for you. And when it comes to women, silence is not just silence, it's a mirror. If she never calls or texts you first, the real issue is not her. The issue is the standard you've allowed, because here's the reality. People don't treat you based on what you deserve. They treat you based on what you accept. When you continue to reach out while she invests nothing, you are silently teaching her, this is enough. I will do all the work. I will accept the bare minimum, and human nature is predictable. If you show that you'll accept less, that's exactly what you'll get. But men of value live differently. They understand that effort must be mutual, respect must be mutual, interest must be mutual. Anything less is not a relationship, it's an arrangement of convenience. Look back at history. When Roman generals negotiated with foreign leaders, they demanded respect before a single word was spoken. If an envoy came without proper honor, the negotiation ended before it began. Why? Because the general knew that the way he allowed himself to be treated set the tone for how Rome itself would be treated. The same applies to you. If you accept being an afterthought, you will always remain one. But if you set the standard that silence is not acceptable, that effort must be mutual, you change everything. Now here's the key. Standards are not spoken. They are enforced. Weak men try to argue their way into respect. They send long messages. Well, why don't you ever text me first? Why don't you show the same effort I do? That is begging. That is weakness. That is trying to talk someone into valuing you. Strong men don't explain their standards, they live them. So when she never initiates, your standard should be clear. I don't chase what doesn't chase me. And you enforce it through action, by pulling back, by focusing on yourself, by showing her that if she won't step up, you won't stick around. This is where most men fail. They're afraid to lose her. They fear that if they set boundaries, she'll leave. But listen closely. If the only way to keep her is to accept disrespect, then you're not keeping her. You're losing yourself. And a man who loses himself for a woman loses everything. Brother, when you set the standard, you force clarity. Either she meets it, or she reveals her lack of investment, and both outcomes serve you. If she steps up, you gain a relationship built on balance. If she doesn't, you save yourself from years of frustration and wasted effort. This is why boundaries are not selfish. They are sacred. They protect your energy, your dignity, your future. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. So stop arguing, stop explaining, stop begging. Just be the man who respects himself enough to demand mutual effort. Because when you raise your standard, something powerful happens. You filter out the wrong women automatically. You don't need to play games. You don't need to convince. Your life itself becomes the test, and only those who value you will remain. That is strength. That is manhood. So if she never calls or texts you first, here is your path. Set the standard, not with words, but with action. Let your silence speak. Let your self-respect draw the line, and let her response reveal the truth. Because at the end of the day, the world does not give you what you deserve. It gives you what you demand. Demand respect. Demand effort. Demand balance. And if it's not given, walk away, because your dignity is worth more than her silence. Comment. Question for Chapter 3. What's one standard you will never lower for anyone, no matter how much you like them? Share it in the comments, brother. Chapter 4. Walking away with strength. Brother, here is the final truth. If she never calls or texts you first, then she is showing you her level of interest, and your response must match her investment. A woman who never reaches out is not confused. She's not too busy. She has simply placed you low on her list of priorities. And when you see this, you must have the strength to respond with clarity, not by chasing, but by walking away. Walking away is not weakness, it is power. It is a declaration that you will not remain where you are not valued. It is the ultimate act of self-respect. The Stoic philosophers understood this. They taught that freedom comes from detachment. Epictetus said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Her silence may sting, but your reaction defines your manhood. Most men fail this test. They cling harder, they text more, they beg with their actions, hoping that persistence will create attraction. But attraction never grows from desperation. It only shrinks. The stronger man takes a different path. He observes the silence, accepts it for what it is, and chooses dignity. He steps away calmly with no anger, no pleading, no drama. He says to himself, if she cannot give me even the smallest effort, then she cannot have me at all. And here is the irony. The moment you truly walk away, you gain leverage. Many women only realize a man's value when his attention is gone, but by then the choice is yours. You are no longer at her mercy. You decide whether to return or keep moving forward. That is real power. Walking away also creates space in your life, space for peace, space for growth, space for women who will respect your presence and give what you give. Because the truth is, losing someone who doesn't value you is never a loss, it is a victory. Think of the great men of history. Did kings beg to be chosen? Did warriors chase after those who did not stand with them? Number, they walked forward, focused on their mission, leaving behind anyone too weak or unwilling to follow. And that is the path you must take. So brother, if she never calls or texts you first, remember this: do not chase, walk away, not in bitterness, but in strength. Not because you hate her, but because you love yourself enough to demand more. Because in the end, the respect you receive from others will always reflect the respect you show yourself. Comment. Question. For Chapter 4, have you ever walked away from a woman who gave you nothing back? Did it free you or make you stronger? Share your story below.